they born here?
Perth, yeah.
AC/DC.
The original guy born in Scotland was from Currymuir or something.
Yeah.
It was Currymuir or something.
So technically, they're Scottish.
Well, they are.
AC/DC,
they're
yeah.
born here.
Yeah.
That's why when they were from Glasgow, and when they came back with AC/DC, they were one of the Scotland tops on stage, like the old 70s ones when they were.
Bonnie got brought up.
For those about to rock, we salute you.
So that's how he got his name, Bonnie Scott.
Yeah.
Bonnie Scott.
Well, welcome to the end of day 3. And you can actually probably tell by our voices we're much more tired today. There's less enthusiasm. Well, we're enthusiastic to talk about this, but we are tired. So today we have travelled up through Ullapool, and we're now in Ullapool, sorry. Ullapool, Liverpool, Ullapool, Ulysses, and we're now in
Lochinver? Just outside of Lochinver.
Yeah.
Just up from Ullapool.
Lochinver. Yeah, Ullapool swimming pool. So yes, we're here for the night, and I have to say the RV is parked right next to the shoreline, so we're looking out onto the sea coming in, hitting off the rocks. And to the right of that we have sheep grazing on the rocks as well, lots of little lambs running around. So very, very picturesque, and I think today we may have seen some of our most picturesque scenery as well.
We're almost very close to picturesque scenery.
Well, yes, we were very close to joining the picturesque scenery when Ross decided that rather than reversing out of a hilltop parking space, he decided that he would go forward and just put the brakes on before we went running down a hill into a lake. So that was great fun. So yes, so we're actually probably very fortunate to be here to record for the third night. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to it. So we had 6 songs so far, and we're going to look at Scottish songs 7, 8 and 9 that we love. So maybe Paul will start with you. So what song are you putting forward for selection? Or what song are you selecting?
So my song is called Lelena, and it's from Donovan.
When the sun goes to bed, that's the time you raise up your head. That's your lot in life, Lelena. Can't blame ya, Lelena. Arty-tart, la-di-da. Can your part get much sadder? That's your lot in life, Lelena. Well, I can't blame ya, Lelena.
He was a folk singer in the late 60s, and they said he was sort of like Scotland or Britain's answers to Bob Dylan. And it's a great track that I'd actually heard, because I think he'd recorded it. He was teaching Paul McCartney how to do the finger picking style while they were recording in India, and this song was around that time. So I actually heard it on a Beatles bootleg, and it's just a brilliant song, actually. Just a lovely song.
And he's more, that's not one of his more famous ones. There's probably 3 or 4 that are very famous, aren't there?
Yeah, Hurdy-Gurdy Man, which is in Zodiac, Sunshine Superman, Mellow Yellow, and Jennifer Eccles, is it? Yeah.
So yeah, but from Glasgow, right?
Yeah. I think he moved maybe down south when he was 13 or something, but yeah, he's brilliant, quite underrated actually, and very, very talented.
Good.
He's still alive, I think.
Mm-hmm. He is, yeah.
Yeah.
Donovan Leitch, that was his name.
Donovan Leitch. Okay, Ross, will maybe come to you for your selection, and it's a bit more left field, this one, isn't it? Okay. What's your selection?
It's Dave and Cowboy by Boards of Canada.
And why?
Well, I'll probably just say that for people who don't know who they are, they're a Scottish duo, generally electronic music. And I picked this purely because something trying to represent the more sort of synthesizer, electronic side of music. I remember the album that's on is called The Campfire Head Phase, so I remember buying it in FOP, and around about the time that's when I then bought a Mogwai album, which is another Scottish band, and also Sigur Rós, which are an Icelandic band. So I remember the three of them at the same time, and it was just kind of maybe a change of different music for myself. And the album itself, this is probably, although is an excellent album, probably my favourite album of theirs. That's the song that's always been kind of probably my favourite, and probably my favourite of all their stuff they've done. And it's just a beautiful album. It takes a bit of time to get going. It's a bit of a builder, but it's got, although it's an electronic song, it's got guitar in it, and it's got beautiful strings. And it's just a kind of swirly, swooshing sort of sound, and kind of builds, and I suppose it's a bit like a wave. It kind of up and down, up and down. It's a beautiful song, and that's why I put it forward.
So that's certainly our most obscure choice so far. And how did you find your first day driving today, Ross?
It was okay actually. Well, I think the initial part of just coming out the caravan park to you, it allowed me to understand how to drive an automatic, and also the handbrake. But then after that, once you're on the open road, it just really felt like driving a car.
Yeah.
Really, more than things.
And you had, along with me, your first ever haddock wrap.
It was beautiful. I can see that maybe catching on back down in Edinburgh. Maybe
it was delicious, wasn't it?
It was lovely.
It was.
With the salad as well.
Yeah, with the salad, and obviously a very picturesque beach in Ullapool to eat it on. Yeah, which was great. Okay, so the final choice, and my one is from one of my favourite Scottish bands, and from one of my favourite albums, which is the debut by Franz Ferdinand, and this was their first big song, which is Take Me Out. Probably their signature song. And why? Well, do you know, I remember on my first ever iPod, remember them?
Yeah.
There were two albums I played to death when I went to the gym. One of them was Green Day's American Idiot, and the other was Franz Ferdinand's debut, so that just really reminds me of that. I was fortunate enough to see Franz Ferdinand play at the Prince Street Gardens in Edinburgh in 2005, which was a really great show. That was just prior to them releasing their second album, just before the second album coming out. So yeah, Take Me Out, and it's just and this is the thing I've got, it's you would never know Franz Ferdinand or a Scottish band. And for me, I like that. I don't like the obvious, and that's just personal taste, I don't like the obvious tartan and the bagpipes type stuff. I like it when you'd never know a band is Scottish, and Franz Ferdinand their image was very alternative, very craft work, and inspired new wave type. What they all wore the same stuff. And Take Me Out is just great, just the way it starts, and it's like two separate songs. The first part, then you move into the main part of the song, and obviously a great build to that. So yeah, it's an absolute classic song, whether it's Scottish or not. So yeah, Take Me Out by Franz Ferdinand is my selection for today. So there's day 3 over. Tomorrow we reached the top of the UK, the top of Scotland. So we hit the northern parts, and we're then going to be travelling east and end up in Thurso, where we will we've got our camp booked, and we will hopefully, fingers crossed, be enjoying a few beverages in a pub and watching the Champions League semi-finals. I think it's Man City, Real Madrid tomorrow, is it? I think so. Yes, I think it's tomorrow. So we'll hopefully we did actually try and get a drink.
I think it's Milan actually.
Is it Milan? Okay. Well, we did try and find a pub today, and to quote, well, we went into a cafe, didn't we? And we asked the girls in there, "Oh, is there anywhere we could watch the football? Is there a pub?" And the answer was, I think there's only one pub, and I think they said it was just full of old men. And that it was closed on, and it was closed on Mondays, so that was that out the window. So, hence a very quiet, picturesque evening talking in the RV tonight.
It's nice though.
It is nice because we are quite tired. Yeah, so I think we're quite happy to have a chilled out evening. So yes, thank you for listening, and we'll be back for day 4 in Thurso.
Trimming the Musical Fat podcast is a Stephen and Paul Nicholson production. Contact us via voicemail by going to anchor.fm/GTMF/message, or tweet us at Musical Trimming, or email us at trimmingthemusicfat@gmail.com. Keep up to date on the show by joining our Facebook group or visiting our website www.trimmingthemusicalfat.com.
I love it. I love it.